Hey mama, today's practice is for your forearms and your wrists. When I first had my son, I didn't even know that I had muscles in my forearms and wrists that were going to be feeling the way that they did when he was a newborn and now even into toddlerhood. I find myself massaging my hands, my forearms, moving around my wrist joints constantly from holding him, from just general activities of daily living. So let's get started in a seated position. Let yourself sit up on something if you're finding that your knees are wanting to feel like really close to your body. Let yourself sit up on a pillow or even find 2 blocks underneath your sits bones and kneel if that's more comfortable for you. These exercises can also be done seated on a chair. Just have yourself more upright so that you are really focused on the strength in your body and letting energy flow through it as you become more aligned. So the first thing we're going to do is just settle in with a few deep breaths. You can breathe in through the nose and maybe sigh it out of the mouth if you want to hear that full audible exhale. One more time. Now closing your eyes, just start to feel down into your arms. Just below the elbow, the forearms, the wrists, and the hands. Noticing if you can sense any sensation or tension or anything happening here now, just as your arms are resting. Take another moment just to notice your body. Notice the hard work that you put in every day to take care of such a little person or people. And then opening your eyes when you're ready. The first stretch we're going to do is taking your hand out like a platter, and then start to bring your fingers towards the ground. And you might already be feeling a stretch through your forearm here. Right? These muscles are kind of sneaky because they don't have the same sort of tension feeling as some of the other muscles in our body. But when you start to stretch them, you know. So take your other hand and gently pull your fingers back towards your body. And try to avoid locking your wrist out. You can keep a soft bend in your elbow rather, not your wrist. Letting your wrist press forward as the fingers pull back. You might even rest your gaze on your forearm and just sort of noticing the muscles in the arm and the space. Good, and then release from there. Create a soft fist with that hand and roll it around. Switching sides, the other hand comes out like you're holding a platter and then bring the fingers down. Opposite hand comes to pull the fingers back towards the body. Checking in again with the elbow, not locking it out, keeping a little soft bend as your wrist press forward. And you might just notice a different feeling if you let this thumb spread out wide rather than letting it curl in towards the palm. You might feel the stretch in your hand too. Letting your shoulders relax as you take a few more breaths. Good. And then releasing from there, create a soft fist, relax the arm, and roll the wrist around. Now with the backs of the palms against one another, bring them about chest height as you softly press the backs of the hands together and pull the elbows down towards the ground slightly, again while keeping your chest open and your shoulders down, seated tall. to your breath here. Good. Now open up the hands towards the face, and then connect your pinky and your thumb like you're creating a lotus flower. Now with the thumb separating, the hands open towards the face, fingers dive down towards the heart, and we start to create this circular motion with the wrists. Rolling the wrists against each other as you continue to move in these circles. Letting your lotus flower reveal itself and then disappear again. Getting some nice fluid movements in the wrist, encouraging the fluid of the joints to be more flexible, malleable, flowing like water. And then we're going to pause and see if we can reverse. Fingers dive away and then towards the body. Good. Okay, now as your hands come back to center, interlace your fingers. Take a full deep breath in. Then as you exhale, press your palms out and away. Now if you have rings on your fingers and this feels uncomfortable, go ahead and take a moment to take them off and really enjoy this stretch. Pressing the hands far away from the heart. We're allowing the shoulder blades to spread away from the spine. So the top of your back is sort of doming forward as if you're in a cat pose. Good, now release that, come back to center, release your hands. And like you're flicking water off your fingers, release, release. Good. Okay, coming back to center once again, bring your hands out in front of you. And then flipping, flipping your left palm outward, so it's going out away from the center. Take your other hand and interlace your fingers so your right arm is on top of your left. Now curl your hands towards your body and then roll them back away. So we're going to do that a few times, keeping the hands together. And then back away, and one more time towards the center and away. Now release your hands, and we're going to switch. So hands are back in center. Now the right hand is going to flip outward, and the left hand is going to come on top. Okay, one more time, coming back to center, and stretching out. Doing a few of these rolls in and out. One more time in. Exhale, press them out, and then release your hands. Take a nice big stretch all the way up to the sky. Shrug the shoulders, they've been working here too. Maybe even finding a few circles of the neck. Okay. Now we're going to come onto our hands and knees to tabletop. Spreading your fingers well. Tuck the toes under, and we'll start to move back and forth, getting a little added sole of the foot stretch here too. So you'll let your shoulders go far back towards the heels, and then letting them go past the wrists just a little bit. Good. Now coming back one more time, stretching the feet, and then come back to a neutral table. You can relax your feet if you want, or keep them tucked. Now with one hand at a time, we're going to flip the fingers back towards the body. Why don't we start with the left? Again, without locking your elbow, soften your elbow And you can start to lean back again towards the heel. So again, if you want that little foot stretch, you can tuck the toes and let yourself send your sits bones back towards your heels. Right, really similar to what we were doing seated, but a little bit more grounded here, as you can really plant your whole palm into the floor. Right, again, waking up all your fingers, make sure they're spread wide, even your thumb is awake and pressing down into the mat. And then soften the elbow, release the hand. We're going to take the other side, flipping the palms, the fingers, and letting your hips move back towards your heels. Soft bend into the elbow. Avoid overextending your elbow. Protect those muscles and get a nice big stretch in your forearm. Try to stay lifted through the chest and the neck. Good. And then release from there. Coming to child's pose, sending your hips back to your heels. You're going to tense your fingers here, fingertips onto the mat, palms lifted. Let your fingers crawl as far out as they can as you rest your head down on the mat or a block. Now relaxing your palms down, let your arms completely rest, giving the weight of them into the ground. And take one more deep breath in your child's pose. When you're ready, lift yourself back up, coming either to a kneeling or a seated position. It's important for everyone to stretch these muscles on a regular basis, but as moms taking care of little people, it's even more important. You're down on the floor playing, so you might as well stretch a little bit while you're there. Go ahead and move on with the rest of your day with this newfound space through your forearms and your wrists, and I'll see you in the next video.